Hey folks, today we will talk about the self-sovereign you and self-sovereign identity for sure, but more in a different angle. Right now I have a lot of different discoveries around personal knowledge graphs, the data management and all those things, but maybe it will be the topic of my next videos in a month or two because I want to aggregate more findings and data, but today we will talk about the social you. So the social networks, I made a video already about the video hosting and how I moved to the decentralized social medias, the social medias in general. I touch a bit the Noster protocol and so on, but I see that if you take a look how personally I use social networks, then it will be not about the Twitter or the Mastodon or the messaging itself. It will be more about the LinkedIn. Yeah, that's I'm not really corporate, but I guess that LinkedIn actually was way before. We get Twitter way before we get the Facebook. Actually, the LinkedIn first appeared in 2003, and Twitter arrived somewhere in 2006, and Facebook I don't really remember, maybe 2004. So they close to each other. But the first social network was actually LinkedIn, and I believe that it's part of our identity. It's part how our society works. That people always gets around the function that they do in a society, the profession that they do, they share the knowledge to do the mastery, and I guess that first social network was this tribal environment where the people gets around the fire in a circles, and maybe hunters gets together, and then in the Middle Ages it was the guilds, and right now we have this guild term in a IT environment. So the people always try to get together and share the knowledge and try to get better in what they are doing, and share what they're proud of and so on. So the work actually it's a big part of our life, and I believe that it will be transformed by DAO. It's not about finding the job, it's more about showing to others what you are doing and what you're capable to do, and finding the next challenges that resonate with your values. So the LinkedIn. My problem with LinkedIn that it's too corporate, and it's limited. It's locking myself on the platform. It's locking my data. As usual, the business was started with the good idea for community, but after that they try to limit the access. They lock you inside the network. It's a classical story of the Web2 companies. We don't want to go this way, and I don't want to complain you. I still believe that LinkedIn do amazing job anyway. But it's something that we were looking for a long time, and was Nostr community overlooking, and majority of the decentralized protocols are overlooking that it's not about your tweets, it's not about the content that you create, because practically every social protocol starts from the messaging, but it's more about your social graph. So the real value of the social network and real data in a social network, it's not your posts. Nobody cares, nobody reads, just believe me. But the real value actually, it's your connections and the people, and this one really struggles right now, because we have simply no way to express the relations. I was surprised that we simply not capable to express the relations, and semantic web together with us since 2001, they tried to solve this problem somehow with the ontologies like friends of friends and all other things, that they first bring this meaning to the data, create the relations, create something that allows you to describe the social graph in a structured manner, and but it's still, you have a relation like I know this guy, but or I follow this guy, but the problem is that somehow you passive stranger. So we just see the connections in the people, we don't understand why they connected. We just know that this guy following this guy by some reason, and I believe that this part should be changed. So the first part, that we should be able to pull out of a social graph and take this connection with us, take this audience with us, analyze this data, make some new insights on this data, make this data open, interoperable, and make them follow the FAIR principles, like the findable, the accessible, and all others, interoperable and reusable. For sure. So I wrote the article about the SSI and FAIR principles. I guess it's extremely important. But what's more important, that I want to pull out the social graph. But this social graph should be a bit specific. It's not about I know Lilia, but it's more about who Lilia is to me and what she's doing, and so on. And it will be multiple connections, because she's my wife, for sure. She's my operator, so all the videos we do together. It's amazing recruiter. So if you're looking for a job, just send her the CV. She will help you to find your dream job, and so on. So you see that you have a person in a context, that this person do something to you, and maybe it's the context of some cool skills, maybe it's the context of something that the person do there for the community, and these have the real value, because you see not the passive stranger follower connection, but the connection of the something that the person on, the something that person do for you, and it's create completely different professional network, because right now we connect together the people with their capabilities, and the people that do something for others. And it's quite important, because this approach could change completely how we doing the hiring, how we doing the interviews, how we finding the next challenges, how people mesh with their values and what they are doing. And I guess that it's a huge overlook of practically all social networks. By the way, it's the huge overlook of the LinkedIn, that we simply don't have it. But I guess that it's a complex problem. It's a complex problem that, to express this data in an interoperable and reusable way, you need quite complex mechanism. That allows you to build these relations, classify these relations, and so on. And I believe that maybe here the artificial intelligence could help us a lot, because instead of filling some crazy forms with the tons of taxonomies, you give the taxonomy, you give the context, you send it to your AI agent and get something back. But what's crucial for me is not just ability to describe these relations, but to have these relations in my ownership. And it's the area of the self-sovereign identity, that I need to own this data, I need to care about this data. And now we get into the quite important concept of the personal knowledge graphs, because right now we have the targeted social network, that's social network about your profession, or maybe it's social network about what you are doing for others, but now it should be centric around you. So that's the one of the key principles of the SSI, that you have the user-centric, you have the existence-centric, that is something that exists in real life. So the center of this knowledge graph is actually you, and it's all about you. So all relations goes to you, or connected somehow with you, and you should own this. So it's mean that we build in the connections with other people, we build in the connections with the skills, with the concepts, and so on. So let's create the graph, interconnected network of the concepts, people, and things, and they have a relation. So in short, it's the short description what the knowledge graph actually looks like. And it's a huge revolution in the internet and a huge revolution for the machine learning, actually, the knowledge graphs. But right now we have something more personal. So we have the personal knowledge graph. So the center of this graph is you, and all connections goes to you, and you own this piece of data. And this piece of data allows you to do the personalization and a lot of interesting things. But our social network are actually the network of the the personal graphs. So the other people will have their own graphs, but they will be the center of the universe. And somehow you connect these universes to the hypergraph. So that's quite challenging technically, but it's prevent us from the second LinkedIn, when the people invest a lot to build the network, and after that they own anything and they locked completely in a network. So I believe that future of the professional networks and future of the social decentralized protocols lay somewhere in these hypergraphs, that you have your personal knowledge graph owned by you, that you decide which part of this graph you want to share with the people, and it's interconnected with the bigger hypergraphs, where the nodes of this hypergraph will be the personal knowledge graphs, and it's open the practically unlimited possibilities, because when you have the information structured in this way, you are able to get the new insights. You're able to find something. We still struggle to create the link, not the LinkedIn, but something like Google for people and their skills and their abilities. Maybe some people don't even understand their abilities, because they think that something that they do is obvious, or maybe they do not even understand fully that the work that they are doing have the completely different dimensions and completely different angles and so on. And I believe that the data structures, the thesaurus, taxonomies, and other people that similar to them could show the completely different view on themselves. So it's what occupying my mind. I'm quite keen to build something. I'm not sure it will be the extension of the Nostr protocol, or we could take the decentralized web nodes and build something on top of the decentralized web nodes together with the verifiable credentials. It's a big topic, but the big idea that we have the personal knowledge graph that connects to the hypergraph, we have the special kind of relations that connect the person and what this person do for other person, and we connect the person with the skills and capabilities. And I believe that it will be an amazing project. If you're keen to build something like that, just let me know. I really want to make it happen. So thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my channel, subscribe to all my Yakihon, Medium, and tons of different media platforms where I'm present and I'm doing the work. So I was happy to share the ideas with you. Stay connected. Choose.